Welcome to Women Engage, where real women talk about real issues. We have a great issue to talk about today. We're going to be talking about women in leadership. If you wish to engage with us in this topic, please log on to our website, www.ecdadventist.org, and click on Women Engage. I want to introduce our lovely ladies that are discussing our topic for today. And I'm going to ask each of you ladies to tell me about a woman, a biblical character that you see as a leader.
My name is Isabirye, and one woman that readily comes to my mind as I'm trying to think is the Shunammite woman, the one who built a space for Elisha in her home. She's the woman in the home, and she took it upon herself to say, the man of God comes and goes. And so let's provide a space for him in the house. And it paid off at the end of the day. And when there was a mishap, when her son died at noon, she didn't wait to cry. She rather went to the man of God, and she said, I didn't ask for this. If you are giving me, then give fully. You can't give in half measure. And so the man of God had to rise up, come and resuscitate the boy, and life was given back. Yeah.
My name is Marianne Razafia Rivoni. When I think of women in leadership position, I think of Miriam, the sister of Moses. I like particularly the fact that after the children of Israel were crossing the Red Sea and they were singing because they were delivered, she rallied all the ladies together and they sang and they gave praise to the Lord. And so this is a woman who knows what to do at the right time and who can rally people behind her to do something to the glory of the Lord.
My name is Rose Misati, and the woman that comes to my mind is Jochebed, the mother of Moses. This woman comes second only to the mother of Jesus, Mary, towards affecting so positively the history of redemption. The Bible records in the book of Exodus chapter 2 that when she saw that the child Moses was a goodly or a beautiful child, she made a basket out of bulrushes. She hid this child. The Bible further says that Moses was the meekest man who ever lived. And I pray that I will be just like Jochebed, and God will say that of my son, that is the meekest man who ever lived.
My name is Rispa Awor. The woman that comes to my mind as a leader is Abigail. When you are a leader, it doesn't matter the personality of your husband. It doesn't matter what character the husband is. So I see Abigail taking the leadership and being in charge of the servants. And they didn't have little, they had plenty. They had sheep, they had animals, they had servants. And so all this, if you have a foolish husband, if you are not a leader of your own home, cannot survive. Because prosperity does not flourish in foolishness. But the woman took charge and showed the leadership, and we see how they thrived until Naboth died.
My name is Debbie Maloba. I have many women in the Bible, but the one that I wanted to share with you is Hannah. Hannah didn't have children. She was mistreated. But I know and I remember how she was committed. She submitted her request to God, trusting in Him until she got a son. And she committed him to God. She raised him instead of keeping him at home, because she promised and she kept her promise. She went and offered the child to serve in the temple, and she was blessed. This is a good example as women I can take to be committed to fulfill my promise and to help others to serve God.
Thank you, ladies. You know, it's very interesting as I was listening to the examples that you were giving. You know, I was expecting people to say people like Esther, you know, she was a queen of a nation, you know, Deborah, who was a judge of Israel. And it's interesting to look at the variety of examples that we gave. I think then, looking at the examples that we gave, I think it's important then for us to say, well, how then do we define leadership? Because these were all women who indeed did show leadership. So what is leadership then?
It is the ability to get people, the ability to create outcome. That's a leader.
Maybe I can also add the ability to influence people positively towards an action.
Excellent.
Leadership is having a sense of accountability, not waiting for people to do things without you contributing to it, because we are all part of a community. So a leader should have a sense of accountability.
Leadership is inspiring others in whatever you do, so that they may also follow your path and do things to prosper. Yes.
Okay. Well, you know, for looking at the panelists here, you know, our audience may not be aware, but actually these are very powerful women professionally in their own right. But what I've seen from all the definitions you've given and the examples is that when you're thinking of leadership, you're not necessarily thinking of someone who's a vice chancellor of a university, but we're looking at influence, and that all of us, every single one of us as women, can actually be leaders. We can be people who influence and inspire others and use wherever we are in order to be a positive influence. So that's very interesting. And I think that's very important for us to make note of, because there's a woman out there at home, maybe she's a housewife at home, she has suspended her own professional development for the very worthy cause of looking after her family, and she doesn't see herself as a leader. But it seems to me that leadership goes beyond some of these, you know, expectations that we have.
Yeah, Jocelyn, also to add, leadership does not have to be loud or out there. It's in the very small things, in the quietness of the home.
I think if every woman considers herself a queen when you are married, if you see yourself as a queen, the way God sees you as the queen of that home, then you are a leader.
That's right.
Yes, because the role of a woman in the home is, we can't finish defining it. But let's take a girl. If a girl is reared to believe that she's a princess for God, she's a leader. So it depends on how we choose to see ourselves. All that we have said is true. And a woman must learn to see that she's beyond the piece of article. Yeah, she's not just to be there to decorate. Like I said in church, one man was telling me when we went for community work, he said, "Oh, I didn't know you can walk." By the time he said it the third time, I asked him, should I take that as a compliment? Do I come out as a lazy person? As a lazy woman who cannot do anything, I should just sit and be served? Oh, he said, no, I didn't mean any offense, but I'm just saying I'm impressed that you are able to work this hard continuously. So I said, my father reared me well. I know how to work. I know the dignity in labor. And so every woman is a leader. Our platforms are different.
So Yetunde, you've brought up something. You know, many times as parents, when we are bringing up our girls, we compliment them on the basis of their beauty. They look beautiful. You know, you have nice hair, you have nice legs. So they think they are to grow up to be beautiful, to be appreciated, to be beautiful for somebody who is their husband. But when we are complimenting boys, we compliment them on the basis of their intelligence, hard work, strength.
That's right.
And you know, we say it until it becomes.
Yes.
So I think it's a high time we started also as parents to compliment our daughters on the basis of their hard work, because they didn't do anything to be beautiful, but they can do something in terms of persistence, diligence, and hard work.
Excellent.
Marianne gave an example of Miriam as a leader, and we can follow Miriam. She was successful for as long as she was following the example or the instructions of God until she started grumbling.
Yes.
So when a leader starts to grumble, a leader falls.
Yes. It's true.
Because Miriam did not succeed throughout her leadership. She started being envious,
Exactly.
started grumbling. So that gives us an example that a leader has no room for grumbling. A leader is supposed to
Be a servant,
act and
servant
be
leadership.
a servant, be an example, and demonstrate, show by demonstration. So in that way, we see Miriam as a woman who let down her leadership.
That's right.
Because of grumbling.
Yes.
After she had led for a while.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the story doesn't end there.
Yes.
But it is also the fact that sometimes, as a leader, we feel we have to fill the place of leadership in every position. And I believe that also was part of Miriam's problem. She felt she was, obviously she was leading the women and she was doing, in her sphere she was a leader. But she grumbled because now she was starting to look into the leadership of Moses, which was not her place. So leadership, I believe we have to know where to exert that leadership and how reaching and how much we can influence. We were talking about Jochebed. Somebody talked about Jochebed, a very good example. That woman raised 3 children. Let's not forget that also Moses was, but Aaron was good, Miriam was okay. So 3 children, and that woman was a slave. So therefore, there she is raising only, we can say only, but it's not only. But still, she did not, you don't see her outside of that sphere as a leader, but still fully doing the job. And I think that's where Miriam failed. Tactically, she did not know where she belonged, and she did not use that opportunity of influence. And I think leadership can get into our heads.
Yeah,
It does. It does.
And that's why I talk about a platform. We can call it a platform, an arena, but each one of us have our spheres of influence.
Exactly.
And it will be nice if women would understand that this is my sphere.
Space.
And this is where the Lord wants me to match. That's the way I define it. And so it doesn't mean he cannot grow the platform bigger. Remember, he gave talents, he expects us to grow the talent, and then he adds more, and he says, welcome into this bigger platform. And so each one of us as women, as leaders, either as per your position or the fact that you are married or the fact that you are a girl, there is that platform for you to act on. We should not, is what I'm hearing, we should not envy the platform of the other person. A leader has to be selfless. And when you are selfless, you don't have time for envy.
In other words, we can't do everything and do it well.
That's correct.
We should see what somebody else is doing as a compliment to the success of everybody.
Yes.
And I think that is what Miriam
Failed to understand.
failed to understand.
Okay, that's a good place for us to pause. We're going to take a short break now, and then we'll come back to talk more about women and leadership. Welcome back to Women Engage. We're talking about women in leadership. Now, ladies, I have a scripture to throw your way. This is one I want you to think about. Tell me how women can be in leadership when we have scriptures like this one. Explain, help me understand this one. This is Paul speaking in 1 Corinthians 11, 2-3, and he says, I praise you for remembering me in everything and for holding to the traditions, just as I passed them on to you. But I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is man, and the head of Christ is God. So, since my head is a man, how can I then be a leader? Isn't it then false to say that I should be a leader? Because the examples that we've given, we've said women can be leaders in a whole wide range of areas, including in our homes, as well as our places of work, in our communities. How can I be a leader when actually I must be subordinate to a man? Can you help me to understand that one?
It's good that Paul did not say that the head of a woman is man. He simply said the head of a woman is man. Oh,
Yes, the head of the woman is man.
is man. And I believe that is one man, not several men. So if it's man, that means your husband, if that is. And there is nothing wrong with having the priest of your household as the head of your house and your head too. And we cannot forget that the same God, the same Bible, also says that he cannot survive without being helped by you. So I don't see any contradiction.
Okay.
And I don't see anything to grieve about. But when you leave the God-given powers and think that every man that you meet is your head, including the ones that, then I think that that's a problem.
Yeah, 2 points I also would like to make from the book of Genesis chapter 1. The Lord created the woman to be a suitable helpmeet for the man. Help me understand, who is stronger? The one being helped or the helper?
Ooh, that's a good one.
They are equal. They are equal. Stand side by side. They are equal. So really that is very much in order. The woman was created to complement and to support the man as an equal, suitable helpmeet. Another point I would like to make from the book of Ephesians chapter 5, it says, wives, submit to your own husbands,
yes.
not to people's husbands. So even if a woman at the workplace is the head of the institution, she has not been called to submit to other people's husbands who are under her. She's to submit to her own husband at home. But remember we said the man is to love her as Christ loves the church. So to the extent that he's like Christ, let her submit. But to the extent he is not, let her use her wisdom, God-given, her judgment, and her awareness. So I think we need to be very clear on that.
I think it's relational, what Jocelyn has brought up. And from what the two ladies who have spoken have said, that a woman is supposed to be a helpmate. If the woman was not qualified, will she be asked to help somebody? If she did not have the strength and the ability to support and to help, will she be asked to do such? People, I think we sit and we interpret because we think somebody has to be down there. That's the problem. But God never intended it for somebody to be down there. Rose was talking about women submitting to your husbands. She didn't finish that verse. It says, as it is fit in the Lord. The verse she also quoted about men loving as Jesus loved. It starts by saying, men, love your wives as you love yourself. The much that you love yourself is that much you would love your wife. That's what the passage is saying. And I don't know why people always like to feel that women are second class. I feel happy that I'm created a woman because I see many things God is asking me to do. It's because he knows I have the strength, the ability, the capability, the skills. They know how to do it. And then the man is the head. I'm very glad to have a head. I'm very glad that the man is the head. Have you ever seen a head without a neck? You will never find the head without a neck. And look at the head properly. Is the head able to just move if the neck has not decided to rotate in this direction? Women are important. I think women need to say to themselves and also see that they are in this position because the Lord has given them the ability to be a woman. Let's not downplay ourselves and say, I'm not able to, I'm not able to.
Yeah, just to complete, in that submission, I fulfill what God has given me as a leader. It doesn't exclude.
Okay.
And I want to think of leadership as, she mentioned it well, as it's a relationship issue. Nobody leads without a follower.
Yes.
So we have to have people around. You have the followers, you have those who help you. Who has ever seen a leader leading alone? Even leaders in the government or anywhere in the world, they have as advisors, they have people who are collaborators, they have counselors, they have committees.
Yes.
So therefore, in that context of relationship, I believe what Paul was talking, even actually men, the head of men is Christ. The text says that itself. So therefore, does that make men less of a leader?
No.
They are still
Submit
leaders.
to one another.
So therefore, they submit and they have Christ as the leader. So at the end of the day, there is no problem whether the Christ is the head. There is no problem as the man being the head. It's all a matter of relationship in order to function. Like she's saying, the head, the neck.
Yes.
To function.
Yes, excellent. Okay, let me ask another question. What are the challenges of being women in leadership, whether it is in our workplaces or even in our homes? What challenges does it bring?
Yeah, first of all, challenges are in both sides. Women, they find themselves let me say, with other women, they are not accepted to lead, to be led by women. This is the first challenge. Yes, women are rejected. Those who are leaders, they are not supported by other women.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
They
true.
are rejected, so they find themselves in situations where they will not move on because they have limit. Nobody who will listen to them.
Yes.
The same with men. Men fear to be led by women because of that complex.
Yes.
So this is the first challenge I find myself.
Yeah, maybe also to follow through with what Debbie has just said, balancing the role of a wife, a mother, and a leader at the workplace.
Yes.
It's very difficult because that's a lot of work for a woman. So it calls for going the extra mile, and many times being double, even triple tired.
Yes.
Another one is societal perception. Society expects a woman to be cool, calm, collected, and submissive. So when a woman tends to be assertive, you are labeled aggressive.
Yes.
You're told you're behaving like a man. And that really is a negative
Yes.
connotation. So that perception, that societal perception because of the patriarchal system is a challenge. Another challenge that women face in their home when they are leaders, woe unto them if they are more senior to the husbands or than their husbands. There is stigma. The society expects or thinks or perceives that this woman is tough-headed, and they think that she will not submit to the man. So you find there is pressure from the significant others.
Yes.
And some of these men, they find their way around by being abusive because they feel that's a way of
I have
putting
to
the
show
woman
you
in
in
the
your
proper
place.
place,
Yes.
that you know I'm the man, as if when they married the woman, they didn't know they were men.
Yes.
And interestingly, when this woman is abused, society again is on the side of the man.
Yes.
The woman is, what have you done?
Yes.
It's because of this. You need to be more quiet. You need to be more submissive. So it's really a delicate balance for the women because
is.
many times women feel they need to apologize. They get a promotion, they need to apologize. They do something, they make an investment, they need to apologize for it. But men proudly and openly talk about their accolades. You know, they buy a nice car, they want to show off. The woman buys a nice car, she will give the husband and take the older one.
Yes.
Yeah, because she needs to remain submissive.
Yes. But I also believe that leadership in our society is a male concept. Let me explain myself. We expect, and I like the fact that you have raised things about leadership in different spheres, like mothers. Like, we don't think like that for leadership. We think of leaders of holding the country, you know, doing big committees, going this and doing that, not thinking that it has a lot to do with influence and the effect and creating outcome. So therefore, it's really a male way of seeing things. Therefore, if a woman is a leader and she has children, her child is sick, and they will say, what kind of a leader are you? You were not at committee. They would not say that to a man because they would say, well, he could not do anything. But a woman says, obviously, she's a mother. What do you expect? So therefore, there is that connotation there is a male connotation with leadership in itself. We define it. We put the job description of leadership in a male point of view rather than an influence, rather than a way of creating effect.
Yes.
But I think society is progressive. And there are things that we can only overcome when we as women leaders recognize these challenges and do not let them be in our minds. To focus on them all the time, that this is I have to be limited by other women. Because if we believe that when you are a leader, you are there by God's design, and God has a part in that leadership. You are not a leader to put your husband down. You are not a leader to put any man down because you are now a woman in leadership. And when you do your work well, your work speaks for itself. It may be a little bit more challenging to do work that will be recognized because of the time in which we live. But I think a leader goes beyond what other people are thinking. So we have to have that substance and think know that who has placed us in positions of leadership. And we know that we have a role to play in the society, and it is not for selfish reasons. And therefore, when you serve others in whatever capacity, you are a leader and you do your best by the grace of God at that time. But without listening to the negative forces from the society, from within your home, and also not bringing bad influence simply because you are a woman. As soon as you are put in a position, you bring it into your home and think that now that I'm the leader and my husband is not, you need to start washing dishes. You know, those kind of things. Those kind of things ruin our leadership, and we ruin our leadership ourselves. We start it.
Okay, ladies, so we've come to the end of our program today, and I would like you to just give a final word to our women out there who are leaders, whether it's in their homes, communities, or in their workplaces. What final message would you like to leave with them today?
I would like to say to every woman out there that please be proud of yourself, not in terms of arrogance and lording over people, but be proud that God has created you a woman and you have a special place. Your platform may be small, but it is still not less of being a leader. Let's be women who are selfless and women who serve with the mind of empowering the lives of others.
I would like to say to every woman leader out there, and that includes all of us, whether we are single, whether we are mothers, whether we are wives, whether we are old, whether we are young, I would like to tell them that we are all called to be leaders and to take courage, to move forward, to create outcomes, to make a difference wherever you are.
I would like to mention from the Bible, the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 28 says, "It shall come afterwards that the Spirit of the Lord shall be poured on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters will prophesy." Woman, I want to say that rise and shine, for your light has come. There is a role that God has for you which no man can fulfill. So if you don't fit into your God-given task, your work will be left undone.
I would say that as women, we have to recognize the opportunities that God provides. Leadership is not something that we just reach out to grab. Leadership is an opportunity that the Lord provides for each one of us, and it is something that we are prepared for a long time. Sometimes when you go through suffering, you may not know that you are being prepared as a leader. So we lead in various ways. Some people lead through counseling other people because that is the role that the Lord has given them based on the experiences of their own lives. So we should take the leadership wherever God places us and continue to ask God to enlarge our territories.
To all women who are leaders, be yourself. Do the right thing. And God is on your side. Everything will move forward smoothly, and you will also empower others. For other women, let us support each other. Let us give strength to those who are leading. Let us love them and share whatever we have so that we may build each other. And God will bless us.
Thank you for joining us today on our program. We've been talking about women in leadership. Are you a student in a school or university? Be a leader. Use your influence. Are you a mother in a home? Are you a wife? Be a leader. Use your influence to build your home. Are you in a professional workplace? Be a leader. Whichever place God has placed you, use that opportunity. Use your God-given skills. Be a positive influence to build and grow others. Until we meet next time, please keep engaged with us on our website, www.ecdadventist.org. God bless you.